All right, Steve. It's great to have you back here, and we just wanted to talk a little bit about the show. Tell us a little bit why NobelBiz wants to attend, or is attending Contact.io.
I'll tell you why NobelBiz attends any show. We attend it because we want leads and we want to do business and we want to do what I would call affordable commerce to the right party. So branding is important. We do a lot of marketing towards our brand and our credibility. But at the same time, when you look at a trade show, it's an investment and it's a very real one. It isn't something taken for granted in this day and age by any company. So we're looking for the right people at the right time interested in what we have to do and sell. And I love Contact.io. Last year was its first in Denver. And I like it for a lot of reasons. One, I like that it's in Denver because it's accessible. It's easy to get to. It's in kind of middle of the country, but it's really a nice area. So, it can be fun for people coming, but at the same time, there's no question they're not coming to gamble. They're coming to do business. And I think just that alone says a lot about the people that go there and why they're going there. But the industry for a long time has been fighting with the issue of uh, this high cost to get for companies like us to get in front of our customers at shows. And the cost continues to rise and it cuts out a lot of the small to medium sized businesses. And so you have this, it's great, I suppose, if you're enterprise and you want to take a year or two to nurture a relationship and make a sale. But small to medium sized businesses, call centers that need something now, that's who most people really want to talk about. Most companies want that, and that's what Contact.io has. And it's specifically contact centers, and it's specifically suppliers for those contact centers at a reasonable cost in a easy to get to area. I can't think of anything better, to tell you the truth, than Contact.io.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that. One of the things I'll never forget being on the other side of the table as a business development manager for a contact center and having to try to get approved to go to some of these shows, to get, education, see other products and services, meet with brands that potentially we can even work with as well. But having to spend, over $1,000 just on a registration was hard to get approved. So when we do our shows at Contact.io, we really try to start it out relatively affordable at $4.95, and then kind of just inches up. And we always try to encourage people to register as soon as possible to take advantage of that low price. I mean, we have you can get a full refund within 14 days of the event. So there's no harm in investing in that cheaper price early. And then if you somehow can't make it, we'll refund it as long as it's not within the 14 days of the show.
Well, what happens at some of these very expensive shows to get in, if I'm an attendee, is I will send one person to a show. So if they're 1,000 or over, what I'm essentially saying is, and we're not necessarily in it, what I'm essentially saying is, okay, let's just send one person. But the truth is, one person usually isn't enough to really do a show properly if we're seriously intent on doing the work that we need to, because that one person now, it may be a salesperson, but now they're saddled with either bringing things back for other salespeople, for other managers. Their time is diluted, and you really don't get a great value. I'm a big believer that you have to send 2, 3 people to a show with an agenda, choreograph. Bob, you do this. Jill, you do that. Steve, you do this. And you have to do that. You have airfare, you have hotel, you have a lot of things. And what you don't want is to be spending $3,000 just so they can walk around. And I mean, maybe in context it makes sense, but what ends up happening is then you'll say, well, okay, then I'm just going to go to these huge shows. And when you go to the huge shows, you never have intimate conversations. And nobody remembers much of anything by the time they leave. Contact.io is a show that people will remember the conversations, and they'll have some value from it at an affordable price. Look, we're not looking for free, but we are looking for a way to say there has to be some common ground here where the event planner has to care not just about the income but the audience, and that's what happens at Contact.io.
Yeah. So you attended last year in Denver. Were there any specific takeaways that you sort of walked away with after attending Contact.io?
Well, one of the great things you had was the people speaking, especially Steve Bederman. He was amazing. That's me, of course. But no, I thought the quality of the people was important and good, and the learning, uh, but it was more so focused on spending time in front of a booth with somebody talking, and then you could bring it up because you had a really easy format for lunch. You were thinking of COVID. I don't know how it is exactly this year in terms of the meals, but the way last year Contact.io had boxed meals, and then an easy and safe area to sit down and talk with people that was actually relatively quiet, just because the venue was very comfortable. I believe it was at the Hyatt. And again, it's going to be there. So I really like that venue. So more than anything, it was a really comfortable, easy place to communicate with people, which is the point.
Yeah, and we'll have buffet lunch both days, light breakfast, and then of course a couple different networking events at the show this year that people will really get to connect with, and yeah, thank goodness we're a little bit away from the COVID restrictions that we had last year, so we're really excited for the show. And actually, we've been sold out. The exhibit hall has been sold out for over a month now, which so selling out the exhibit hall 3 months in advance is definitely says something to the people looking forward to attending the show.
Well, the word is out about Contact.io for vendors like myself at NobelBiz, and once that word is out, why is it out? Why do I want to be there? I want to be there because you're bringing the right people in, and once the word is out, I don't know what you do. You either have to expand Contact.io, or just make it a primo boutique kind of a show. Right now, I think it's the best show in the industry in my own mind.
So on that note, NobelBiz is one of the top contact center services, products in the industry. You're very influential. You guys go to a ton of shows. You have a podcast. You put out a lot of great content for your subscribers. I mean, you guys do a lot for this industry. When we look at the different shows that you go to, sort of what do you, as you see it from your point of view, what are the sort of differentiator between some of those and Contact.io?
Well, as I said earlier, it really comes down to being able to do commerce. But when we go to the big shows, and we go to them because they're there. We don't necessarily go to them because we're making a good strategic choice. It's like they become almost a checkbox that you say, I am in the industry, I am a player, I have to be seen at these shows. And the outcome of those shows is most of these very, I guess I would say Vegas type shows are that they're very loud, they're high volume, and people are somewhat distracted once they leave to do the fun things in that, in that area. And then in the morning, they always come late, or they come somewhat irritable, right? Because they've been enjoying the venue. Um, we have to be at those because our competitors are, and so you choose to do that. Uh, what we really like and what we prefer to is where we can really spend time, the time necessary to develop the relationship during the day, afterwards, to be able to spend some time with the group at a reasonable sort of an activity that is not compromising, that gives you time and I wouldn't say quiet, but gives you some peace to be able to have reasonable conversation. To me, it's why a place like Denver makes a lot of sense, because it isn't here to go party, it's here to go work. And I just think that's such a huge thing. I can't Don't downplay the fact that Contact.io has found a way to find the right balance between good venue, but peaceful and reasonable cost, and the right parties getting with the right parties with enough time that when you go home, you've already done a demo. You've already understood the discovery to some degree. You've had enough time to really take the next step versus grabbing a bunch of cards and wondering who they are, or throw your cards into a bucket and then I'll start spamming you afterwards. That's not how you do a Contact.io.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's one of the things that we've tried to work on at Contact.io is finding an optimal a number of attendees that is conducive of great conversation. And I think that's what Contact.io does provide. And Denver is excellent. It's what's great about Denver is that one, the venues are wonderful. The hotel, the Hyatt Regency, is a great hotel with a lot of amenities in there. But just blocks away is a line of wonderful restaurants and things that you can go and hopefully spend some time with some prospects at over dinner as well, outside of the venue. So it's quite well rounded in what Denver offers, and we love it.
Well, it's a high tech area, right? It's clean. It's safe out in the city at night. You're right in the middle of the city, so everything is around you: restaurants, fun, shopping, malls, and at the same, you have the mountains, of course. And at the same time, if people want to move on to a weekend, and go up into the mountains and do some hiking, rafting, just all the things you can do, climbing around the hills. What I can't think of a better place.
We're really, really happy to have NobelBiz a part of the event. You guys will be exhibiting there. And there's actually a great panel on the first day with some of your colleagues that will be on the panel moderating it. So we're really excited for that as well. But just to sort of wrap up, is there any sort of last final words you wanted to share?
Yeah, NobelBiz, you alluded to it earlier. NobelBiz spends a lot of time, I would say maybe an inordinate amount of time, developing relationships that we think are the right way to do it from a knowledge perspective, to where we're building a lot of knowledge and we're passing that knowledge out. We're not using our marketing to just say, here's a piece, come back and be my lead, but rather we're a part of an industry. They need good information. And through that outcome, they'll recognize that, we're a good bet. We're the right kind of people to be around. And I'm excited that some of our staff is going to participate in a panel or lead discussions, because one, we're really good at it, and two, I'm excited with a serious audience that Contact.io is going to bring, to get our people in front of in front of them, because we're really proud of our group, and we care a lot. I think we're matched with the kind of people at Contact.io that they care a lot. So, you know, two positives there, and we couldn't be happier about it.